Hello everyone, my name is Webweaver and welcome back to another episode of It's Look Who It Is. So, what are we doing? It's very shrimple, alright? You've never seen something as shrimple as this? It's quite so shrimple. We're gonna pick Moriko and random whatchamacallits, I think. I think we'll do random perks as well. Keep it fresh, keep it interesting. Deft handling is overrated, as many people are saying. How about a little Yellowzath as a treat, you know? Oh, a Knight Errant, huh? Alright, this is Timeline X, so unknown on whether or not we will be safe here, but what we can do is try our best, which is the only thing I can do. We're not, oh, you throw them away, very funny. I was about to say, you know, we're not really in the mood or the energy levels to have the indomitable human spirit defeat fate. So, we'll just see. It's a nice little hunter's sweater. And, yeah, we'll just go ahead and get a little encoding overloaded. And then accidentally click out of the game window as a treat, further prolonging our encoding that may or may not be overloaded. As Moriko ponders. Right. Arms, peculiar painting, hell, footage. I'm kind of curious to go painting first, get the light source. But we could alternatively go, like, found footage or hell or something. Let's go ahead and do found footage. And what we'll do... And was that the correct play? The forest and the mansion are low threat level and basically safe, so maybe it was the wrong play. But what we can do is we can get Survivor's Guilt and we can go buy a compass. Not a flashlight, because we're going to get one of those for free. And sure, you know, I was thinking about lowering the threat level to low. I think probably maybe should have done that, but I don't know. I think we're alright. I think we're alright. I kind of want to take peace of mind here. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. I think we take peace of mind here. And I guess since the mansion's safe, we can go there twice, but if it gets a threat level increase, we're going to cry. I mean, I'm not gonna say no to that. I'm feeling pretty good about that. So the forest is safe, the mansion is low threat level. So let's go ahead and just do ourselves a favor here and put the police on the mansion so that it's safe for when we go there. We'll take a village investigation. That's okay. I'm not really worried about that. And you know what? We can even take the safe route and not even, like, worry about it. This is not a doomed investigation. That is a visual bug. I think we just take the... Yeah, I think we just roll a 1 and we get out of there without having to think about it. Because we don't have to make the... I mean, I guess the charisma check is still, like, more likely to happen because we have more charisma than we do dexterity, but failing the dexterity check, I think, is a better penalty than just getting shot and then hasty aid. Because if you fail the check on the right, which is the one that we did to succeed at dexterity check, right? If you fail that, you get a random injury. If you fail the one on the left, which is a charisma check, then you get -2 stamina and hasty aid, which is a random injury. So it's like, yeah. It's almost always better to click the button on the right if you're thinking that you're going to fail them. Just for the pure purpose of you're getting a random injury either way. It's just how delayed do you want it to be. It is useful to click the one on the left if you have stamina and you might, like, not get hit, you know what I mean? Like, if you're planning on running away from the next combat encounter or anything like that, then yeah, you could probably take it. But, like, hasty aid's just really annoying because you can't get rid of it until it turns into an injury. And then that's when it becomes, like, a problem, you know? Because it could be nothing or it could be something serious. And you get it during combat, which is the issue, right? Because when you get a normal injury from that event, it's like, okay, this is what I have, and that's going to inform how I finish this mystery. But if you get Hasty 8, it's like, well, I think we'll confront the person, that's fine. When you do that, it's like, it's random when you're gonna get that injury. And if it's benign and does nothing, who cares, right? But let's say you're in a combat. Let's say you're in combat with a boss, and then you get hit, and then that injury procs, and it's really bad, right? You could lose the run. First enemy, and it's this guy. Ugh. I don't think we're killing him. We would have to lose 3 sanity to make it happen. But we could still miss. I think it's better to just... You can't run from this encounter. That's right. Okay. So... So that sets him down to 7. Ah, we're on Ath Yel'Uzath. I'm getting punished. Damn, that's 5 exactly. We're fine. Yeah, that's pretty bad, though. Pretty unfortunate. Now, this is just weird, honestly. I almost want to take Fast Learner. Is this Fast Learner historical revision that I'm thinking, like, yeah, more EXP would be nice, even if we do take damage for it? Because we're going to take damage no matter what. But, like, is it that much worth it? Like, First Aid's way better, right? Like, First Aid's way better. I just feel like, oh, man, I'd love to level up right now. That'd be great. Second enemy, Billith Mazeth. Okay. More Doom, by the way. We can't... I mean, we could run away from him, but we're gonna definitely Thou Art Slain before... Yeah. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. +1 knowledge is pretty fun, too. I'm happy with that. Go ahead and give me a flashlight, which is really good, by the way, because it protects you from the lighthouse if you have it, and on Moriko, you need that perception. So, we're feeling pretty good about this right off the bat. Now, I'm trying to think, right? That's pretty fantastic. We love that. Now, could we stumble across the bath and then refuse to take a bath? No, we can search a room, though. That's fine. An empty bottle, potentially huge. Yo, there is no time for a bath. Well, actually there is, because Emmy is already dead, and it's not, like, I mean, he's thanking us for his patience, but, like, I was actually just taking a bath, sir. You know, I took my time. But, let's see what we got here. I was thinking about, have I done anything neat recently? And, really, the only thing I can really think about anecdote-wise, I haven't done anything cool recently. I haven't done anything neat recently. The only anecdote thing that I can really think of right now is T3 paints, Privateer Press paints, okay? So, I do a little bit of miniature painting as a treat. I don't do it as much as I would have liked, or as much as I like, but I do have a miniature collection. I do paint them gradually, and I enjoy it, right? I think it's a fun activity. I just want to put more time aside for it, but I don't. But I really, really, really like 2 paint brands. P3 paints and Warcolors. Now, I don't have as much Warcolors as I want, because it's very expensive to get Warcolors, because they're like... I'm gonna look this up before I say, because I do not wish to be ignorant. But I believe they are in Europe. Let's see, Warcolors Studio. This is not the company. But they're across the pond. And it takes a little bit for the paints to get shipped. And the shipping is expensive, right? So the next time I order from them, it's going to be a big order that's like a paint set when I have the money for that. But the thing about them, right, is they're a very fun kind of paint because they're a gel, right? They're not a, like... They're like a gel and not like a liquid that you're like used to using. They're great in the airbrush, and they're kind of tricky with the brush, I'll admit, but the results are really nice. Like, I'm happy with what I can do with them, and I like them more than other paints. So I find myself using them way more than like pretty much any other paint brand if I have a Warcolor paint that fits the situation, right? Really big fan. Honestly, we can take the stamina, because we've got a bottle of water, and we've got a sewing kit too, by the way. I mean, honestly, just make the mansion safe as well. We just put it back there. And then my other favorite paint brand are P3 paints. I don't really know, like, any technical information. Oh, huge. I don't know any, like, technical information. Hallucinations, you piece. I don't really know, like, the technical information about how, whatchamacallit works, like P3 paints work. Like, I'm pretty sure they're just normal acrylic paints, but the formula, the pigments they use, I don't know what it is, but the paints work great, right? Like, I was originally introduced, and I said this on Twitter, on X, as well. But I started using them because I picked up Kingdom Death, because I am a... You can fill the blank in for however you feel about Kingdom Death. You can just fill the blank in. That's the blank, right? And the painting tutorials that the website offers, a lot of them, the painter uses P3 paints, and so that made me consider them as a brand that I never really thought about before. So I picked up some of the paints in the tutorials, which you shouldn't do, by the way, because you can use the paints that you like that are the same tone or similar tone, and you can work with them. You do not need to buy a color of paint that you already have, but in a different brand. You don't need to do that, okay? You should buy paints with purpose. But I got these paints, and I really, really liked them. They worked exactly how I wanted them to, and they were really, really good. And I use them more. I have a lot of P3 paints. I use them more than any other in my collection. I absolutely adore P3 paints, and so I bought a lot of them. And they are, if I have the P3 color for it, I am either using Warcolors or P3, like 90% of the time. Folklore Studies is good, but I will take 60 EXP. I'm gonna take 60 EXP. I think that's really good. 60 EXP is kind of a banger. So I really, really like Warcolors. I really like P3. I want to try Warpaint Fanatic, the new Army Painter paints that just came out. I really want to try those because they look great. But where this story is going is Privateer Press. Privateer Press Paints, P3 Paints, is owned by the company, you'll never guess, Privateer Press. Actually, that's wrong, but we'll get to that in a second. So they're branded Privateer Press Paints. P3 Paints, right? P3. P3 Paints is like, oh, there was a really good thing where it's like you're saying, like, the same word 3 times, but you're using the, like, it in a different language, and then you're finishing it with the English word. But it's basically that, you know, it's P3 Paints is redundant because the P3 is Privateer Press Paints. So Privateer Press, for the longest time, was a company that ran Warmahordes. Warmahordes was their game, and it was a pretty, like, decently sized game back in the day, right? Like, it wasn't it never got to Warhammer levels, but nothing gets to Warhammer levels, right? But it was like if you didn't want to play Warhammer, or you wanted to take a break from Warhammer, you wanted to try something else, you know, your options that were, like, playable, at least, and, you know, maybe this is, doxing myself, but your options were Warmahordes and Malifaux, right? Those were your two options. Well, there's also bolt action, I think it is, but I have no interest in that. I have absolutely zero interest in that. I have negative interest in that. So, anyways, I mean, we could get a katana, but it'd be funnier to get knowledge, you know? Hell yeah. I don't know why it was 1 out of 4 when we have 5 strength, but, you know, you do you. So anyways, those were sort of the 3 games. And I picked up a Malifaux Warband, because I think Malifaux is cool. I haven't played Malifaux because people stopped playing Malifaux, but I also picked up some War Machine stuff as well. Specifically Crix and Khador, because I think Crix and Khador are awesome. Crix is my favorite, but I picked up Khador because there was a sale, and it was like, well, okay. Oh, yeah, funny moment. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. It'll be alright. It'll be fine. We'll be good. We'll get ending A on Rancid Ramen real quick as like a little treat, you know? Actually, hold on. Let's do arms first. Because if it's timeline A, which we want, then that's perfect. Ooh, free item. So, anyways, Warmahordes was like, if Warhammer was the baseline for popularity, like you could go to a store that has game tables, and you could realistically expect to pick up a game of Warhammer, right? Like, realistically speaking. You could not realistically pick up a Malifaux or Warmahordes game, but if you asked around, you could definitely find people who played it, and you could play a game with them. Now, by the time, I never painted my Crix or my Khador, so I never played. But I saw some people playing, and I inquired about it, and you could get games of it, okay? But Warmahordes, unfortunately, kind of fell off. Unfortunately. It did kind of fall off. And Malifaux has been doing a little bit of a comeback with the new edition. I don't remember what edition is it. Is it 3rd edition? I don't know. It's like the new Malifaux edition. And Malifaux is kind of coming back. But unfortunately, yeah, sure, on your own, why not? We don't have any allies. Unfortunately, and this is a little bit sad. Probably just give me perception, I think, yeah. Just to kind of mitigate our hallucinations a little bit. War Machine kind of fell off, and they got hit hard. Right? And they got hit really hard. And so, when you're getting, like, a miniatures game, the actual miniatures, and this is kind of important because this is, like, supply line stuff, and this is, like, operating cost stuff. So, the 3 main kinds of, like, miniatures that you could get back then were plastic miniatures, which basically only GW and Malifaux did, metal miniatures, and resin miniatures. And basically, for the plastic, I know that's a little misleading, but, like, for the games that we're talking about, right? GW did mostly plastic, resin, and then and some metal, but it phased out its metal models and its resin models gradually. Malifaux did plastic, and War Machine did resin, and colored plastic, which was really cheap and really, really bad. For their, like, starter sets, for their, like, small $40 starter sets, those were pretty bad. But regardless, making miniatures, the molds are expensive. Using them, not so much. But the actual, like, production and creation of a mold that you can reuse to, like, make minis is really expensive. Right? For Games Workshop, I think it's, like, every model that they make costs them like $300,000 to like make the mold for, or like the, you know, UK equivalent. Or maybe it's like 300,000 pounds, but like after that, you can basically like make the model for pennies at the dollar because the actual raw materials are nothing, right? Now this is, admittedly, I'm vague posting. I know very little about the industry. These are just things that I've heard from sources that sounded authoritative, so take this with a grain of salt. Now, in the modern day, we have some new techniques, like, is it Seocast or Secocast? I can never remember, but it's this new kind of plastic where you basically, like, how do I put it? You basically, it's a eco-friendly, recyclable plastic where all of the normal, like, waste from production can be reused to make more molds, and it's, like, apparently really cheap and decent quality. I think I have a couple of miniatures that are in that material, and it's fine. It's a new plastic. It's a very interesting technology. The only thing is it's, like, it's proprietary, so you need to have somebody from that company show you how to make the molds, and so you usually end up, like, hiring somebody from that company to teach you how to operate the machine and how to do it all. But it seems to be, like, pretty good. And then, of course, the elephant in the room, which is 3D printing. 3D printing is crazy, right? Like, and that, like, I don't know exactly what happened to Warmahordes, but they went into some hardship, into some trouble, and they started, like, they had to do their, like, kill shot, limit break, desperation move. Good luck, happy karma, good luck, happy karma. Aw, you son of a... 83 doom guaranteed? Alright. What are we gonna do here? It's very shrimple, okay? We're gonna attack, and we're gonna go crazy. So, you know, they ended up doing War Machine Mark IV, which is basically, like, the new edition of Warmahordes, because you can still... Okay, this confused me when I first heard about it. They had two games, War Machine and Hordes. War Machine was, like, the mech steampunk, and Hordes was, like, the high fantasy, right? Well, I think high fantasy is the wrong term. Well, the thing is, both of these games were compatible with each other, right? And both of these games were playable with each other. So they were basically the same game. It's just like, what theme of faction do you want? Do you want a traditional, quote-unquote, fantasy faction? But they had a lot of creativity. Like, their trolls were, like, blue. Sorry. That sounds like Hordes disrespect, but I actually just don't know how to put into words. The Hordes factions were cool. I really like the Hordes factions. I kind of wanted to play was it the Everblight? Anyways, and the Circle of Ouroboros, those were cool too. Like the Druid, like Stone Golem faction. But you basically had like Hordes, which was like fantasy, and then like War Machine, which is like steampunk, right? And they were playable together, and they were basically the same game. So War Machine Mark IV, all of like your current armies are playable, including your Hordes armies, right? So when I say War Machine Mark IV, even though it's branded as War Machine Mark IV, Hordes still exists, and they've still announced like Hordes adjacent factions, right? So yeah, all that stuff is completely fine. But the thing about it that was very like important was I think what we can do here... Sorry, I need to lock in for a second. We're not taking sanity damage, so I'm just gonna do that. I'll do it again. You're goddamn right I'll do it again. We're only taking at most 3 damage from this thing. You can't stop me. So, War Machine had to do this rebrand for War Machine Mark IV. And one of the things that they announced really early on is that due to production costs being too expensive, they were switching from their, like, resin that they used to doing 3D printing models, which are also resin, to be fair, but it's a different kind. I'm pretty sure. I mean, it has to be, right? It has to be a different kind of resin. I think. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I'm not. You know, I'm very ignorant. We're walking in ignorant territory, okay? Which is why I was hesitant to do literally any other bit right now. But anyways, I'm gonna go to the monument, and we're gonna have a good time. Now, I can't help but notice we have even less items to discard now. Probably discard the compass and the handcuffs. And I'll do that right now, just so that I don't forget. Actually, I'm gonna level up first. I mean, it doesn't matter, we're gonna level up anyways, but, you know. Okay, now I'm gonna discard the compass. Hopefully that doesn't have, like, a level up diff that, like, screws me for the rest of the game. Thank you. I mean, we're taking 6-3 at the most, so I'm just gonna keep upping my perception as, like, a little treat. But basically, they announced that they were using 3D printing, like, 3D printing to make their models. And that was exciting because, okay, as far as wargaming is concerned, it is cheap to 3D print, alright? Somebody did the math, and I mean, people do the math all the time. They're like these clickbait YouTube videos that's like, what's cheaper, a Warhammer army or a 3D printer and enough resin to print a Warhammer army? Like a bootleg one, you know? So, people have been doing this for a while now, right? Here's the thing, though. They are completely correct. Like, it is cheaper to buy a good 3D printer, which good 3D printers are becoming cheaper and cheaper. Like, I think, you know, when I bought my 3D printer long ages ago, 80 million years ago, it's probably dropped like $400, $600 in price, because the technology just keeps getting better and better. And there's an upgrade kit for it to turn it from like 4K to like 12K or 8K or something crazy like that. You know, like, that shit's incredible how fast that technology's going. That's really been an area where technology has been going absolutely goblin mode, okay? Yeah, we'll jog around the block. That's fine. You mind giving me some more Monument Gaming here? Ooh. Kind of sketchy, huh? Yeah, this is not gonna do us any good, ever. We don't have enough inventory items, and we can't move things back into our inventory, so it doesn't matter. We're gonna be at, like, 86 Doom. If you could take, like... I swear to God, if you could take stamina, I'd give it to you in a heartbeat. Or, hold on. The flashlight, though. I mean, I don't really want to take the damage. But you know what? I think it's true and real. I do think that's correct. I think that guarantees that we win. Because we have Mind Drain, right? We have Mind Drain, so there you go. We're at 9 right now? Perfect. I mean, we'll go to 8. That's fine by me. And you're dead. You're dead, sister? Me and the lucky earrings Rutsu? I mean, I'm already lucky. I don't have time to change equipment, my bad. I almost misclicked. Alright, Vile plus meat, thank you. Thanks for the +2 Doom. And we got time skipped. It's Jover, chat. It's over. There's still a chance that we win, but if I get... Like, the reason I went so hard on the monument is so that I could get one of the things wrong, because I don't really remember, so... I can't get anything wrong now. Oof. Alright. Good luck to me. But we are good on, you know, all this shit. I don't have to worry about the health. So anyways, they started moving to 3D print. They announced that they had moved to 3D printing their models to cut back on production costs, which was good. Everybody was optimistic about that. Because, you know, the thing about War Machine, one of the things about it, is that, well, it was a cheaper game, because you needed less models, it sucked because it was like, you were still paying, like, I think there was, like, Bane Knights or whatever that I needed for my Crix army, and I never bought them because they were, like, $80, which, for, like, a unit of, like, 10 guys, which was, like, almost worse than Games Workshop pricing. It was, like, 10 or 20 guys. If it was 20 guys, that's GW pricing for sure, but, you know, it's very difficult to get away with GW pricing because, like, that's GW pricing. Yeah, you're just dead. Yeah, goodbye. Rip Bozo. Pack Watch won't be missed. The thing is, with all that, right? Ugh. Alright. Oh, it was Billy Mays. It was Billy Mays. Yeah, I remember that. Yo, Adrenaline, let's go. Oh, no, we're famous. Absolutely. Make sure to, in order to make fame come true, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that bell for notifications when I upload World of Horror randomly every day. But, like, they switched to 3D printing, and so, like, the thing is, you would be dropping a lot of money for an army for War Machine, right? And it was one of the cheaper games, but for wargaming armies aren't cheap. So being a cheaper game still means you're dropping hundreds of bucks for, like, an army, you know what I mean? The scale that people enjoy to play at, like, that the game's balanced around, right? You're dropping like 200, 300 bucks for that, right? Depending on what your army is, of course. And so the problem was that their game was really expensive, and then they announced War Machine Mark IV and that they were switching to 3D printing. And then you look at their prices, and you actually can't currently because their website is down. I never even got around to the P3 paint anecdote. I'm so bad at telling stories. But you would look at their, like, army bundles, right? And it would be $300, $400, right? I think it was $300. But I can't check because their website is dead. But, like, you would see this, and it's like, wait, so you're 3D printing these models as STLs. And if I had that STL, I could print this unit for, like, the equivalent of, like, $3 or $2, and you're making me pay $80 for that unit, or, like, for that army, you know, I could pay, like, 60 bucks I could pay, like, 60 or, like, 80 bucks for 2 bottles of resin, and I could print that entire thing and have resin left over and print more stuff, but I could pay you, like, $300 to do it for me. Like, yeah, nah. It was a tough ask. It was a tough sell. And so, at least that's why I never got into it. I never got into War Machine Mark IV. I did really want to get into it when it was announced. And they announced the Crix recently, but who knows what's happening with that now. Because they were bought by Steamforged Games. Well, not Privateer Press, but, like, their intellectual properties were bought. And so, most of them, but not all of them. So, you know, people who like Monster Apocalypse, we die in a corner, I guess. But, like, not all of their properties, but most of their properties, and their paint line, P3 Paints, was bought by Steamforged Games. And the thing is, they're gonna make P3 speed paints. 100%. They're making P3 speed paints. Every other paint brand for miniature painting has speed paints. Doesn't matter what they're called. Express Color, Antithesis, Instant Color, whatever the hell you want to call it. Speed paint, contrast. Listen, Games Workshop contrast paints open the floodgates. Alright, so we're gonna get Privateer Press... we're gonna get Privateer Paint Pass paints or whatever, where it's like, pass the painting phase with one coat. I don't know. But we're definitely gonna get something like that. And the thing is, I just really hope, because there are so many good Privateer Press paints. Reen Flesh, Cardic Flesh, Ordic Olive, Coal Black, Eldritch, Umbral. It was, hold on. I had like a list that I was looking at. I mean, I could just walk into the other room and just look at my paints, but, you know, I wouldn't be able to, you know, I mean, that makes sense, right? Like, the microphone is on a stand. It can't come with me. Umbral Umber. Battlefield Brown. And don't forget... And don't you dare forget Battle Dress Green and Bog Moss. Right? Like, this shit, these paints are bangers. Okay? I actually always wanted to try Carnell Pink. And I actually had it in my cart. But they took the website down. But we were supposed to get an announcement a week ago on the 6th. I guess 6 days ago, not 7 days ago. But we were supposed to get an announcement 6 days ago about Privateer Press paints from Steamforge. And you want to know what that announcement was? Lull, Lamau, no spoilers yet. They're making pass painting phase. P3 speed paints past the painting phase. Listen, that's the only branding thing I can think of. It's very silly. I'm trying to think of like speed words that start with P. That doesn't sound like it all sounds silly, but they're gonna make some sort of paint like that. They're gonna make their version of contrast. They're gonna make their version of speed paints, because of course they are. I just really, really, really hope, like, you have so many good paints. You now own the rights to so many good paints, Steamforge. Please, I beg you, don't mess it up. Please, I beg you, don't mess it up. Please, I beg you, don't mess it up. It's already very disappointing that the announcement that we got on the 6th was no spoilers yet. Lamau. We have developments. It's like, oh god. Don't ruin the formula. Please. You can make the paints better. You have full permission to make the paints better, but like, dear god. Anyways, I'm sad. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Have a good one. Bye.